Thank you very much, everyone. Good afternoon here in Indonesia. Maybe probably some of you are still in the morning. So good morning, good afternoon. Welcome. This is the very first fireside talk show on women in Bangladesh trade union movement. I'm Dinda, representing the Trade Union Rights Center. It's very happy to welcome you to today's activity. To begin with, in order to increase the solidarity between the labor network in South and Southeast Asia, TURC, as a facilitating organizations from DGB Bildungswerk Germany, has initiated and hosted several kinds of activities with the themes that are always related to the importance of increasing the role of women and young workers in the trade unions. Therefore, this event today is very special for me and my colleagues as well, who has helped me carry out this activity, who are already joining me today. We have Sister Raisa that will be in charge as a repertoire, and also Sister Andi that will be helping me in keeping the time. And brothers and sisters, once again, welcome. Thank you very much for attending this event. And now I would like to ask you some questions. When you read or hear the words women workers in Bangladesh, what were the first things that come to your mind? Is it meek, oppressed, exploited, illiterate, poor, weak, scared, or even victims? But is there more to the story than it's just the flat singular understanding? Behind this mainstream narrative stands a long, proud history of Bangladeshi women's participation and leadership in the struggle for freedom, independence, and gender equality. This living heritage continued to create its own dynamism in newer and more creative ways, but often remains invisible and unheard. To hear about what is really happening, we are here with two experts from the women's movement in Bangladesh, our very own Sister Kohinoor from BILS, and also
Thank you.
Sister Sanzida from Karmoji Binari. In today's session, we will hear from them about their reflections of the movement that they have been both part of and contribute to. A very warm welcome to you, Sister Kohinoor, as well as for Sister Sanzida. We are very honored
Thank
to
you.
have you at this virtual talk show with DGB BW partners and the participants from other organizations as well. Before I begin, let me read the short profile of our two very excellent speakers for today. First, we have Sister Kohinoor Mahmud. She is an active trade union leader and women workers' rights activist. She is the director of Bangladesh Institute of Labor Studies, BILS, and also project coordinator of BILS/DGB BW project. She started her working life from Janata Bank, which is the second largest nationalized bank of Bangladesh. She joined as a general member in the union, which is affiliated with Bangladesh Jatiyotabadi Shramik Dal, or BJSD. It's also a member of ITUCAP, one of the major national trade union center of Bangladesh. Then she became elected as a member of executive committee of her union. She is the Women Affairs Secretary of Bangladesh Jaito Badi Sromik Dal Central Executive Committee. She is also the Senior Vice President of Bangladesh Jatiyo Badi Sromik Dal in the Women Committee. Sister Kohinoor Mahmud is a member of many women rights organizations and networks. She was elected as a titular member of ITUC-AP Women Committee and substitute member of ITUC Women Committee for 2011 until 2013. And for the next one, we have Sister Sanzida Sultana, which is the Director of Program at Prison Executive Director in charge for Karmoji Binari. She works at Karmoji Binari since 2011. I would like to describe a little bit about the KAN organization. It's a non-government organization, started its journey on the 1st of May in 1991 to ensure the women's rights, dignity, power, and authority. Over the years, Karmoji Binari organized formal and informal sectors workers, especially to the women workers. At the same time, KN tries to empower and strengthening the leadership capacity of the women workers and advocating with concerned authorities to harmonize the existing laws and regulations, amend and or enact new one, and do advocacy for effective implementation of the laws for the well-being of the workers. Brothers and sisters, I would now like to begin the discussions by asking this very inspiring questions. I will start with Sister Sanzida, as this is also her first time joining our DGBBW Asia Partners activity. Sister, I bet that many of us here are very curious and want to know about how you began your journey in the movement.
Thank you, Dinda, and good afternoon, everyone. Uh, I'm. I want to share when my uh, sense of doing something for the general people started from my brother. He was a doctor, and he motivated me about the socialism and something like that. And I am bearing that philosophy till now. And when I was a student of university, and I joined a number of movements, though I am not involved in any partisan politics, but I am a very politics conscious person, I can say. And based on that, I involved a number of student movements in that period of my education. One significant movement was to protest against the rule, sunset rule. It means the women students or girls have to back their dormitory before sunset, and we protest against this. And this movement was renowned in that time, and many other universities also started this movement following our movement. And I also involved in various movements against the perpetrator teachers who harass girl students. And also we big procession was there in that time. Another one, as I can recall, one of the fundamentalist group in our country. They try to cover all the universities and students, and and uh, um, they try to not motivated, force the students to involve in their fundamentalist groups. And we protest every time, and they attack. And in that time, there was a big protest from the journalist students, and I was involved in that movement also. And from the very beginning of I'm when I was very young, I am a musician also. I'm a vocalist, and I use my music in these protest movements also. And especially the fundamentalist, when they attack, arm attack with guns and everything, when the students are very afraid and scattered. In that very first day, our group started organizing the students to protest against the fundamentalists, and we joined in a point and started singing the motivational song. That is my student life. And after finishing my life, my father was a government officer, and he tried me to involve in to follow him, but I protest him also. And there was a big chaos in my family that I do not admit in any government examinations and something like that. I told that I want to do something for the general people, and so I want to do my job in the NGO, that is non-government organizations. And I started my job in the field. And during my involvement in in these organizations, I was involved in the movement mainly for the protection of environmental justice, gender justice, and also the fair elections and to ensure good governance in the society and on the government institutions. And then I can connect with Karmajibi Nari, that is in 2011, and I was very motivated by Shri Napa to do something really to go to the people. And I was very motivated by her. First day of with her visit, she asked me, "Do you give any involve any movement or rally? Do you want to go?" I should say about Shirin Akhtar. Shirin Akhtar is the founder president of Karmajibi Nari. She is now member of parliament, and she was a freedom fighter, and from her student life she was a leader, and she is an active politician also. At present, she is a member secretary of a big political party, and she also involved in trade union in 80s. And when she was in trade union, she felt that in the political party as well as in trade union, the women voice is nowhere acknowledge women's contribution or anything. So she based on that experience, APA planned to form another forum or platform or window where the women can gather and at least share their experiences and get capacitated. And from that thinking, APA established the Karmajibi Nari, and I am happy that Kohinoor APA is also the founder member of Karmajibi Nari. She is with me, and she knows more well than me about Karmajibi Nari. And in that time, from 1991, Karmajibi Nari is working, and and the main slogan, that is my best slogan in my life: all women are working women. And so over the years, we are working with the formal and informal sector workers. Sorry. And Shirin Appa, in her journey, created lots of forums and also the networks. And she believed that through our solidarity and networks, we are doing today such thing. We cannot get strengthened. So she also formed another trade union also called Bangladesh Shramik Jot, that is Bangladesh National Workers Alliance also, and got registered under her leadership. And she also created a lots of networks. I should say one of the network that is formed in 2017, that is called Voice of Women Workers, that is Nari Shramik Kontho in Bangla. And in this network also there are women activists and trade union members who are involved in various trade unions, and women committees members, they are also involved. And Kohinoor Appa also in the very beginning, from the very beginning, she also involved in this network also. In this way, it is now about 10 years I am working with Karmajibi Nari, and I think it is, I feel that I have at last got my passionate job or work to do directly with the women and women workers, and I'm very happy to work with the women workers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Sanzida. It's very interesting to know your passionate work. Will I believe it will be very beneficial for the all women workers that you've been helping all along. And maybe since Sister Sanzida is mentioning Sister Kohinoor's name a lot in the process, maybe we can also getting to know how is Sister Kohinoor began your journey in the movement, Sister.
Thank you, Sister Dinda. Thanks, DGBBW networks, all participants, and Sister Indira. Good morning, good afternoon, good good morning, and maybe somewhere it is good afternoon. Okay. So, Sister Dinda, you have told to us about me, and you know, I joined in the workplace in 1987. That time I was a student. I was in honors third year, but before completion to join in the bank, I joined in the bank, Janota Bank. It was second. It is also second largest bank in Bangladesh. So some of my uh, family members, they were not agree. They thought that I will complete my education, then join any government job like Sister Sanjida. But I joined that time in 1997. That time, SCOPE, it is a platform, political platform of National Trade Union Movement. SCOPE is Shramik Kormchari Oikko Porishod, united platform of it is also exists now. That time they were in field, you know, they are protesting with 5 points demand to government. And in our country, that time was military regime was there, you know. So these 5 points was in favor of workers, and I joined some of the activities. As one of the point was privatization, uh, the national public sector. You know, there was a decision by the government that they will privatize the banking sector. So it was my issue also. So I joined some program, but I was not as a member. Uh, After that, I became member, but not that much active in the union. In 1991, I joined in the union as a member, just a general member. And I worked as I found some discrimination in my office. There was a discrimination and what can I say, undermined the staff. You know, the officer always, there was a differences, officers and staffs. So I always I become vocal on that. Always I was vocal. So union leaders, were interested to include me in their union, you know. So I always talk to management against any violation, against any discrimination. I always, so union are interested to include me in the union. And since 1991, I became active in the union. And in your statement, you found that from a general member, I became the member of the executive committee. Then I became the Women Affairs Secretary of the BJSD, and also Sister Anna is here. She knows that I was 2 years. I performed as a titular member of in I2C AP Women Committee, also substitute member of I2C. And so journey is very long, bottom to top. It's a top position for a women trade unionist in any country to be member of I2C in a global committee. So I worked throughout the journey, you know, from general member to I2C AP, I2C substitute member. It is my trade union life is in two parts, you know. One as a organizer. I worked from 1991 to 2000 as a organizer, as a trainer. I became trainer of BJSD. I trained under I2C. That time it was ICFTU, FTU LFT project. I trained home and abroad on trade union education, some other contemporary issues. And since 1994, I became coordinator of ITUC-BC. So I have a opportunity to train people, train trade unionists in my country for different sector. As a follow-up coordinator, I worked for all ITUC, ICF2AP affiliated organizations. That time it was 4 national center associated with ICF2 APRO. After that, it becomes 6 organizations. So I have an opportunity to train and mix with other people, other organization, and I have gathered experience on the workers' issue, workers' problem, their challenges, and of course for challenges of women workers. And another part, I joined in BILS. I am one of the founder members of BILS, and it established in 1995. After that, I worked there voluntarily as a trade unionist. I participate as a trainer in BILS programs. I prepared some materials, especially for working women, for trade unionists. But I joined as a staff in 2000. I have taken lien from bank and joined BILS. It opened a very big horizon for me, as BILS works for, that time it was 14 national trade union center. 14 national trade union center. So all over the world, and I have opportunity to reach the regional trade unions. Actually, I got opportunity to know regional trade unionism through ITUC AP. Then then I joined as a officer in BILS, and then after my joining, a special project for women workers. BILS has undertaken a special project. It is women development project. So I was the coordinator of that project. It was funded by CTUC. CTUC is Commonwealth Trade Union Congress, and also Canadian Labour Congress. Jointly they funded the project. It was 2 years project. It changed a women scenario, trade union participation in women, and integrating women leadership, integrating into more women in the leadership. It changed a lot. Through the project, we started with very few women. If you allow me for 2 more minutes, I can say you that before me, no women leader in the banking sector, none of them. In my own bank, there are women staff. In our country, officer cannot join the union, only staffs can. So when I try to organize women in the banking sector in my union, in bank, but as there are very few women and they are reluctant to join union. They are afraid of union. So union people are not good. No, that's the thing. And as they are getting equal treatment, equal salary, bonus, everything. But I try to convince them that in some area women are deprived, like getting promotion, like job responsibility, and so women always deprived. So I try to convince them. So I became success to organize very few women in my own union. Then I tried to organize some other bank sector. And the BJD Women Committee General Secretary Nasrina Dina, she is from banking sector. She is from Sonali Bank. And some other banks. I made the union leaders, I made the women members, then I tried to convince them to come to join. As I literally I failed in my own bank, then I tried to go other banks. I tried to go other sectors. As by this time I became trainer, so I have chance to train people from other sectors. So it is a scope for me to organize other sectors too. So as a women, then when I became Women Affairs Secretary, it is 2009. When I worked in bills, but since 2000, I tried to um, communicate with other sector people, other bank, other nationalized sector like power development, water development. There are some women was there, but in banking sector there are none. So
Oh,
uh, before my joining, there are few women who are the pioneer in our country in trade union. They like our state labor minister Munujan Sufianapa. She was a leader, trade union leader. She was based in Khulna area, not in Dhaka. And some others are also vocal, but in national level, there are very few. They are boys in their area, in their sectors only. So I try to come out the women leader in the national level. This is the history before my joining peace. And another thing I can share, I
um,
know I feel that discrimination and violation of right is one of
mhm.
the area of my motivation to join trade union. And another thing, by this time I met some leaders, those who were very much committed, very much popular that time. And when I met them, so I gave up all my mission. My career plan is changed. So I did not. Like Sanjidapa, I also disobey my family request, and I became active trade unionist in my country. And after joining Bills, I tried to convince women leadership that trade union can be a profession. No, it's a career. So trade union not only to fight for others, it also helps women to build up their career too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Kohinoor. It's truly inspiring. It's especially when you say that trade union is not scary at all. Maybe for me as a young workers, my friends would rethink to join the trade unions. But the way you are very consistent in fighting for our rights, it's very very inspiring. I'm so admired by your explanations. Anyway. Because you both have been involved directly in the movement and are besides all the women workers and all the workers in general, there must be a very significant development throughout the years from the time you said the condition is very difficult, you are being the only woman in the organization and etc. I'm really curious to know how about the current conditions that is happening in the women's movement in Bangladesh right now. Maybe Sister Sunzida, you can tell us a bit more about that. Hello, Sister Sunzida. I think your
Yes,
microphone is still.
yes, yeah, yeah. Sorry, my microphone was muted. Yes, Kohinoorapa, when she started her journey, it was very critical for women to involve and to go run her activities in the trade union. But after the initiation of the garment factories in our country, which was then 85% women were involved. That time, the leaders tried to mobilize the workers
Uh,
and involve them in the trade unions. And the work of Karmajibinari was started in that place also from 1991. They started working with the awareness and leadership development of the workers, and a lots of trade union also did so, and so at present the number of members have increased, especially the sectors where the women workers are more involved, in the RMG and in the and other sector. RMG especially, there are lots of trade unions and lots of women are involved in the trade union, ready-made garment industries, and uh, they are involved, but I cannot say that their representation have increased so much or as we wish they should, but the representation or the position in their in the trade union, they are not so much as per our wish. There are lots of challenges also. I can say later, and can I say Kohinoor Appa can enlighten us more about this issue also. But from my experience, I observed that there are three barriers. First one is problem inside the trade unions, the patriarchy inside the trade unions and something like that. And another one is related to their job. Most of the countries, Bangladesh also, the owners and the management do not want to hear about the trade union, and they every time discourage to unionize the workers, and that is a big challenge for the women. And though they are migrated from the rural areas, they are not so much educated or not aware about the trade union, and they do not aware about the structure. So they only came in Dhaka or urban areas for their job. So when they see that if any worker is vocal or protest and she got fired, so the general workers get frustrated and afraid to join in the trade union. That is another thing. And another, the social and family related problem everywhere. I think the burden of the women workers they have to take in their family and social level. That is also another point. And the patriarchy also. The male person or husband or father-in-law do not want that her sister or her wife will join in such organizations or go outside the country after the work. That is another point. And based on the problem related trade union, I will ask Kohinoor Appa to highlight about the complexities why women are not so much in the front line or the leadership level in our country at present.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sister Sanzida. It's so much in my notes that I would love to elaborate later, but maybe in the perspective of the trade unions, Sister Kohinoor, you've been involved in so many times, and especially you've been telling us that it needs a lot of consistency, continuity of voicing over the rights and everything. Can you please also share with us about the conditions today, like what you've been doing to convince all of the women workers to be more participative, that like not just showing a big number, but an active participation as well in the trade unions.
Okay, thank you, sister. I told you that the participation of women in the trade union is no doubt increased, and participation in trade union activity, the number is now very recognizable. A number of in all activity women are participating, but considering the number of working women in the country, it is not at the satisfactory level actually. the even in the I told you that in all national union national centers, central executive committee, there are now some women, but there is only two national center is only women headed, among bills associated, it is now 12, as actually bills started with 14. So two organization merged together, so now it is 14, 12 national women national center with bills. So among out of 12 national center, one is women headed.
Okay.
Shamimara, she is president of Bangladesh Jatiya Shramik Federation. And another organization, they are not with bills, Jatiya Shramik Party, Sister Anwara, she is very senior trade unionist. She is from jute mill sector, and she she became MP also. But this time she is not very much vocal, and we could not see her in any movement, any activity. So women-headed basic union and national trade union, the very few women is there. And that it is very important to be women in the very top level, to motivate women, to organize women, to build up capacity of women. It is very important, but still it is very few. Lot of problems is there here, sister. Lot of problems. Not only the mindset of male leadership. It is also Sandita told that hostility of employers, even government too. Government is not directly hostile, but indirectly. They are very reluctant about the trade union movement.
Yes, yes.
So it is a very big factor actually. And I can say, as a women leader, as a women organizer and friend of a lot of women leaders, I can say that it is sometimes unwillingness of women also. And this unwillingness is not and also there are so many causes behind this. Sanjay told that burden, family burden, and the and the attitude of the family members, and image of trade union, as the always our media is biased by the employer group. So positive uh,
Story. Yeah.
experience and case studies does not show they always against trade union movement, so it also reflect women lives, so. And another thing is the environment of trade union offices, always not always favor of women. Yeah, as an example, I can say that all activities started after office work, 5 p.m. So how come after office, how come a women go to the union office,
And the
so
union
they
office
are
are far from the, yeah.
yeah,
Far
union
from the
office
workplace, yeah.
sometimes it's too far from their house, so
Yes.
they are rushed to home. They have to cook, they have to take care of their
Feed the
children, take
children.
care of their parents, their in-laws and others. So they have actually no chance to go to union activity. So it is also we have to think about that, how we can make easy for women, working women, to join and perform in the union activities. So it is also the challenge. Another thing, whole trade union movement is now very not very much vocal now. As you know, it is present government doesn't allow to speak out. They have unwritten bindings not to organize rallies and any other gathering, So it is also impacted trade union movement. And Sanjita Appa also
Yes.
agree with me that it is
Yes.
limited, very limited to organize any protest rally,
Yes.
any even in the এটা কি আপা ওই যে যে লেখালেখি করলে মিডিয়াতে একটা there is a law.
Publishing any article, yeah. ICT Act, there is ICT Act. If you do anything, write anything against the government,
So,
if they feel it is bad.
Always impose some barrier. So it hampered also the in all aspect, in the trade union movement, in political movement, in student movement, So it is always strict by government.
Okay, sister.
Scenario.
Okay, sister, I wonder, since we are all working under the DGB Bill W supported project, and it's almost everything that made possible. And how about the condition in Bangladesh itself? Like, how is the DGBBW supported projects helping the Bangladeshi women articulate their interests and assert their rights collectively? Maybe Sister Kohinoor, you can help me to answer this question.
Yes, thank you. I would like to thank DGBBW to provide support to bills to undertake some initiative for working people, especially for women. When we started through DGBBW support, our support is for Chittagong people. Chittagong is a second city of Dhaka, Bangladesh, and it is a port city. It's commercial area actually, but the people of Chittagong is more conservative. So I was in doubt that whether we can organize women in that area, but I am very much hopeful and very much grateful to DGBW that through the project we can reach some sector which was not mainstreaming, which was not in mainstreaming trade union movement, like health sector, like hotel, restaurant, and construction, But through this project initiative, I am very happy to say you that in the diagnostic center clinics, we were very few member was there, and very microscopic women was there. Now 5-7 women leader was working. They are organizer now, and about 900 women organized in this sector. About 50% women in 50% are women in total organized. So it's very optimistic for us. And one sector, railway. Now, in railway, yes, both of you, Sister Dinda and Indira, you met Rekha Rani Borua. We have some other women in the Chittagong, but now the very new generation is coming. And Sister Indira, you met a women leader from railway. So some new women are coming through the project activities. It's very, very optimistic for us. And also garment sector. Garment sector, actually, this sector is very interesting, as the number of women is very high there, and some organization already working there before our project activity. But through the project activities, now the number is increasing and the women leadership is increasing there. And one thing I can share with you that in Chittagong, when I go there and I have meeting with the women, so they are very much confident. They are now organizing. We have a number of women day program there, and the program is organizing by women. Project is supporting. So, earlier it is organizing by the project, women are joining. Now it is organizing by women, project is giving backup support. So So I am very much happy. This year also in February, I have a planning meeting with the women. So all my discussion with women leadership, men were there, but they are sitting behind. No, so I discuss with them and I try to motivate them to build up their capacity to organize. They hire they arrange everything, band party, for musical instruments, they hired. If they go, they took permission from the authority to organize programs. So they have done everything. So it is very interesting and very new for Chittagong. I am happy and I am very much confident for them.
Okay, Sister Kohinoor, thank you so much for sharing. I'm very
Yes,
happy
I
to,
can share something. Can I
yeah,
share?
sure, Sister.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. I'm happy that Karmojeevi Nari has also started working with DGB from this May, and we are also working in a new field that is a seafood processing industrial worker. And the all the seafood processing industrial worker industries are beside the coastal area near the sea, and so they are very remote places, and all types of harassment are going on there. But uh, uh, um, there are not so much work have done by the trade union, also by the civil society organizations. So we are trying to get involved with the workers, and we are trying to hopefully next year we can tell some stories about their success. Okay, thank you.
Wow, that's really wonderful to know that through this project, many opportunities to reach more and more workers from different sectors is very, very uh, much reachable now.
Yes,
And
it is the exceptional case, DGB, that every donor is behind the RMG worker. It seems that there are no sectors, there are no industries except the RMG. Everybody.
Right,
This is the
right, right.
exception. This is the exception, DGB, that when I do not mention any name, but one donor said, no, 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 agriculture worker, oh, seafood worker, no, 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 they're not priority for us. Ah,
Hmm.
so that is the point. But DGB working with Bill's also working with the same experience, that they are working with the new sectors where women are involving day by day. So I'm very happy. Thank you.
thank you, sister. And by the way, if we are looking at the current condition right now, you know that we are somehow pushed by the nature to adapt in such a difficult situations like that. And we are also in the age of using so many technologies among us. I wonder from both sides, either it's from Sister Kohinoor or Sister Sanzida, do you find that more and more women are using the digital medium to learn and organize for their rights? And if there's so, like what kind of innovation that maybe you can share to all of us here? Maybe Sister Kohinoor, you can start.
Yes.
Could you please repeat your question, as there is a problem to hear? Maybe the network is creating problem. Could you
Okay,
please?
sure, sister. Yes, I was asking that in this kind of era of digitalizations, I believe that many of the innovations are being made inside within the movement. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about is there any more women using the digital medium to learn and organize for their rights that maybe bills are helping out with, or any other tech related innovations that maybe are happening there in your organization?
Okay, thank you, sister. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can say that it is yes, and they are using social media too. And I can share with you that last year we have a program with Global Labor University. Also, it is fun. DGBPW is also with Global Labor University, and we had a course, and another course is we are enrolling participate will be start soon. A second batch will start soon. Last year we had enrolled 33 participants, and out of 33, 14 was women. And I am very happy that 14 of them got outstanding marks, and and within 14, 7 was women. So I am very happy that 7 women they performed very good in the online training, and they are using social media, and some of them have a group, the messenger. Through the messenger group they are sharing. And in bills we have archive through archive we collect all the news related to the working people, related to the trade union and global issues, so we share with among our members. And there is a discussion group. I cannot say the number. It is a very huge number. In discussion group, number of women in the discussion group, they share their views through messenger group. And some like BJSD women community have a messenger group, and they share within. And in COVID situation, it is very essential to share with us through social media and other technical, what can I say, the digital media, so it was very effectively they are using. And in the Facebook group, there some of the women leader, they always post family pictures and some other family programs. And as I have a good communication with them, and they trust me actually, so I requested them, then please post your activity, trade union activity in the Facebook more than your family news, so you can see some activity with Facebook store, so they are using Facebook.
Okay, I see. And
We are trying to introduce mobile apps. No, we'll start soon. Already our actually we have in progress, so we'll start soon. That will be another
wow,
area of trade members to use apps, mobile apps.
sister, I'm really looking forward to know the development of the mobile app used by the
Yeah.
organizations. Please do let me know in progress.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
And
Sister
from
Cynthia.
Karmajivinari, yes, Karmajivinari, we started our journey to organize the women, but and one of our successful component, I should say, the women cafe. It is
Oh,
a theme
okay.
of Shirin Akhtar. Yes, we call it Women Cafe, where the women are gathering and in a place and chatting and get experience from each other and sharing their problems. Where though we are a non-government organization, CSO, and we do not have any mandate to form trade union, but we prepare the workers for the trade unions. We
Okay.
invite the trade union leaders in our cafes, and they and ask them, You can use our space also." And they many times they come to our cafe and discuss about the issues of trade union, how the workers can organize, how they can involve in the organize in the factory level, and how they can involve in such a number of workers have already involved in the many trade unions, federations, and also the area level committees. The trade union formation in the factory level, especially the RMG, it is not almost impossible, and that's why our strategy is to tag them in the regional level committees of the federations, and also the central level committees. So in this way, our members, our leaders are involving in the trade unions, and we have not so much digital involvement with the, because our strategy is to go to the workers directly. But during the COVID situation, we have some experiences. We have connected with them, so various social networks. And another thing is Karmajibi Nari doing. We are preparing a lots of. We have prepared a lots of documentary related to the lives, GVV issues, worker rights issues, women workers, working environment issues. We have lot of documentaries which we show them in our women cafes when they are coming to our cafes, and also to our many programs and big events. We show the documentaries, and also we try to the, uh, air the documentaries in the television also, though it is very expensive. So in such ways, also Karmajibi Nari, besides we also use theater and cultural show as one of our awareness raising activity. And there is a team from Karmajibi Nari where the member of staff and members and the workers are involved in our cultural team. And already we have produced two theater. There was a big accident in Rana Plaza, a building collapse and we have prepared a theater based on that Rana Plaza collapse. And before that, there was a fire, building fire in Tazrin Garment. And based on these two themes, we prepared a theater. And another one is gender-based violence in workplace. The two theater we have prepared, and our members, team members, are played in the worker areas, any gathering of the workers. Besides the motivational songs, protest songs, we also perform during our programs to motivate the workers. Besides, in our cafe, almost every weekend they gather in Friday, and there are television, there are musical instruments which the worker use. They play the music, they dance, and they do what they want. In this way, we involve the workers with our day-to-day activities. And there are a few apps related to the worker rights issues, and which are developed by the other others initiative. But my feeling is that though the workers are using mobile phone, but though it is mostly on the English language, uh, they do not fully aware about the operation and something like that. That's why they cannot use that apps or mediums fully. Rather, they can share the use the Facebook is the most using. Emo, they are using mostly Emo software. They are using to connect with each other, and the messenger. That is they are using. But if I say for the awareness or the organizing each other, I think it is not used so yet by the workers.
Okay, Sister Sanzida, Sister Kohinoor, thank you so much for the explanations. It's very inspiring, especially about the women cafe that you've just mentioned about, Sister Sanzida, and because I'm that hard believer that organizations should always think about their sustainability efforts, and I think this women cafes is a very good
Yeah.
idea to do so. And also to know that you are also some kind of doing organizing the workers through arts and culture approach. It's really beautiful to know that. And unfortunately, the timekeeper has reminded me that we are reaching to the end of our discussion. So I have
Yeah.
the last questions for both of you, that I've been longing to hear because I believe it will be really inspiring to hear. It's about if I were to ask you, both of you, about the future of women's movement in Bangladesh, both within and outside the world of work. What would you say are the three key points for the way forward? Maybe we can start with Sister Sanzida first.
Yes, women movement, I must say, at present is stagnant position in Bangladesh. I hope that all the leaders of women movement and worker rights movement should go from their boundaries or political vision and political interest, rather the women interest and gender interest. That is the main critical point at present in Bangladesh. All are separated, segregated by their political position. That should not be. My hope is to gather everyone in under one umbrella, that is the women rights issue, not any politics. That is one. Another thing is, my hope is to, if the women led trade union and federation can form in Bangladesh, that is more, because how much we can say the male do not give here us, the male do not male leaders don't acknowledge us. Rather, let's start from ourselves. Let women leaders start forming trade union by themselves with the members of other women. I hope that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Sanzida. How about you, Sister Kohinoor?
Thank you. I agree with Sister Sandita. And in addition, first of all, I want to say that trade unions should have some strategy to to make a room for women first, and they have to uh, consider the importance of women, the potentiality of women, and the contribution of women. They have to have some issues to undertake within them. And then the law, very important. We have 13 points demand. We formulated in 2009. That time it was a state of emergency was there. In 13-point demand, we have also a demand that it will be legal provision to integrate women into trade union. So we had a lot of number of lobby advocacy on that issue. It is not a discussion point now. I want to say that after the point arising the demand and campaign on it, there is a provision in the law in 2013 that at 10% women will be included into union if the membership is 20% or the women in the workplace is 20%. No, so it is a provision by the law. So it helps women a lot, but it is for new union, and you know the new union is very limited. So we have all union, all federations, all federations is working. So we want a legal provision for integrating women into union, integrating women in the leadership, so that women can have their position in the union, so they can work more, they can organize more, and they can build up their capacity with another woman. The second one. Third one, the finally that uh, common voice is very important. The trade union voice is very low. So if the civil society organization, those who works for the women, so we can have a network or forum, so that civil society organization like Kormojibi Nari, they are working for the working women. So other organizations, they can raise against any violation, any discrimination, and any to protect women and protect their rights in the workplace and the union. So it is very important. So actually, the attitude is very important. So and side by side, we have to capacity the women leadership, continuous information to them, continuous training for them, training, retraining, and follow-up training, and to continue their activity. So it is very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Sanzida and Sister Kohinoor, for a very inspiring talks that we've just had earlier. Unfortunately, the time for our discussion is up, but I have a question from the audience. She texted me personally to know that maybe both of you can also answer. The question is, we know there are a massive informalization of works around the world. In Asia context, it is more complicated because there are decreasing of workers' welfare, and that kind of casual or informal sectors are dominated by the women workers. How women in trade union movement in Bangladesh respond to the situations? And maybe there are some best practices that you can also share with us today. It's up to you. You can, Sister Kohinoor, maybe you can start to answer, and maybe Sister Sanzida can complete the context of the questions.
Sanjida Pa, actually,
Informalization.
I had a phone call, so I could not hear. No, Sanjida Pa, আপনি কি বলবেন প্রথম?
I have, though it is the question for the trade union, I can say the informalization is also in our country all happening, and yes, in every sector, not only the garment sector but every sector. I can say in seafood processing industry, we had a few small research there, and we also find that there are mostly the contractual workers um, who are not getting any kind of support there. In RMG also there are also happening the uh, um, the lower level link you cannot find. There are home based workers who are working for the RMG, but they are informal. They are contracted by the other worker. But I cannot find much activity or demand from the trade union side against such informalization. Apa can share.
For informal sector?
Yeah. Informalization of formal sector.
Yeah. It's a very tough issue for the trade union movement, as in the formal sector there are a lot of informal nowadays, like master role, contractual, and temporary workers is engaging in the formal sectors. It's a very big problem for the like telephone communication. And even bank too, for support staff, they are not hiring any staff. They taking contract, and like city corporation, all cleaners are contractual. So it's a very big problem.
Third party, they are contracted by third party.
Yeah. So actually, Sister Dinda, I apologize that when you were asking the question, I had a telephone call. I cannot hear you properly. If it is about the contractual informal sector problem, then I can share. Is it?
Yes, sister. The question is about
how the trade union are doing, how the trade union is dealing with this process.
Yes, the
Okay.
informalization of formal workers.
It's a huge sector, and the number of the informal sector workers is increasing day by day. So trade union should have some strategies, should have some action plan to organize informal sector. And fortunately, our trade union is very much concerned on the issue, and they are organizing. And one sector like a domestic worker, they don't have any legal protection from the law. Now, after long process, long activity, long lobby advocacy, there is a policy now in our country. It is in 2015 there is a policy for domestic worker, and we are happy that some women became leader from the domestic worker. Our women organizers are organizing them, and in any violation is there, at once the protest was there, always. So it helps to organize domestic workers. Makes their confident to integrate into trade union movement. So like domestic worker, lot of home-based worker is there, home-based worker, and others number of sector is there. So women committees and national trade union centers now organize. They now have prepared plan to organize them. Yeah, it's a very good for trade union movement. Actually, no way. We have to organize. No way, as the formal sector is decreasing, and it is downsizing. So no way to organize formal sector if we want to make the trade union healthy, strong, and their bargaining capacity for their bargaining capacity. It is no way to organize the informal sector. Thank you.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much, Sister Kohinoor. Maybe our colleagues from other countries as well, especially in Indonesia, we are still struggling to even recognize the existence of the informal workers. So it's still a very long struggle that we have to face along the way. And once again, thank you very much, Sister Sanzida and Sister Kohinoor, for a very, very, very nice explanations. And maybe we can open the question and answer session from the participants here who are already attend this discussion today that might have a questions to both of our speakers. I will give the floors to the participants here to maybe directly ask to the related speakers.
Thanks, Dinda. I would like to ask one question.
Sure, Sister Sakshi.
Thank you, Sister Kohinoor and Sister Sanjida. It was really interesting to learn about your journeys in the trade union movement. And specifically, one of the things that I was just, when you were sharing, so I was like the whole government job thing, it's so similar in India as well. Like some of my friends, like, oh, you get a government job, you'll be settled for life. So, yeah, that was something which could relate.
Yes.
So, going on to the question. So, the DGP-BW project in India, we are working with women construction workers. So just, I would like to know basically what is the condition of women construction workers in the construction sector in Bangladesh? Like, what are the challenges in organizing the women workers there, and or if we have some specific policies or laws for them or the construction sector? So maybe if you can shed some light on the topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sakshi, for the question. Sister Kohinoor?
Okay. Actually, according to our law, construction sector is under it is covered by the law. But there are a lot of challenges for them, as they are not fixed in the area. They move around, so it is very difficult to organize them. And the number of women is very few there. And the problem and challenges of women is uh, very hard. For a construction worker, they don't have daily, they work as daily basis, and they engaged through the contractor, not the employer. So if anything, any accident, anything happened, employer did not support them, So it's a very big challenge. And yes, we are working for the construction worker. We have a demand for them. Day before yesterday, there was a accident near my office, and immediately I contacted with the government inspection department, and they sent the team. And yesterday I could not give you the result, Sister Indira and Sister Dinda, and the employer gave them 5 lakhs taka each of them. Okay, 3 died there. So compensation in our country, according to law, compensation is 2 lakh only. And for complete, what can I say, when they cannot work, and the complete damage of their limbs, their compensation is 2,50,000. But we have a fund in government. It is a Shramik Kalyan Foundation. Government provides support from that fund too. But the incident what happened day before yesterday, this time we found that employer also provide 5 lakhs taka each. It is also a output of campaign of trade union movement. Employers should have some contribution. They have responsibility. Only they always say that it is to contractor, and this time contractor also provide 50,000 for 3 of them. I got the news last night that they got compensation from the employer, from the contractor, and hope they will get compensation from the government too. So we are working to meet up the challenges of the construction workers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dinda, can I say something?
Sure, Sister Anna, sure.
Okay. Am I clear? Is it okay?
Anna, yeah, I cannot hear your voice.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Sister.
now.
Yes, I can
okay.
hear you.
Yeah. Every time there's a conversation about Bangladesh, I'm really interested because Bangladesh plays a very close, how do you call it, spot in my heart. Because my first stint in ITCAP way back in 2013, the first person that I ever talked to joining ITCAP was someone from Bangladesh. For the life of me, I could not remember the name of that senior, but that sister played a very big role in my growth in ITCAP, because that person, the first thing that she told me when she learned that I'm working for ITCAP was like, Anna, I've been in the trade union movement for so long, and nothing happened. So what am I gonna do? I was scared when I heard that from her. I wanted to resign because I mean she's been there for so long and she felt that nothing is happening. So I was like, okay, so what will I do? But I really appreciate that I had that conversation with her, because that made us think. It inspired me and us to think. So what can we do differently? Because I don't want to hear that again maybe in 5 years or so. So whoever that sister, thank you very much. So that's why Bangladesh is very close to my heart, because they inspired us to be better. From what I'm hearing from Kuhinor and the other sister was that there were changes. There were some changes that happened in Bangladesh. But you know what I do? I don't look at challenges all the time because it's quite overwhelming. But I always look at what has changed and what pushed, what made all these changes happen. I'm not sure if I hear that from the conversations we had so far, but it would be interesting. Like Kuhinor and other sister was saying about what they have done. They were able to organize women, but I really wanted to know what made that happen? Because there are probably people, something that you did, something that other people did that made it happen. Of course, it's important that we have this project, but there are factors, elements that help you and others make that happen. You know why I'm interested to know your thoughts on this? Because we did some work in Bangladesh before, and I felt there is a huge potential there. I was inspired. In fact, every time I travel in the region, I tell everybody, you know what? We've been in Bangladesh, and there's so much energy in there. But maybe there is something wrong with how do we build, how do we utilize that energy, because you have so much potential. And this is important for us because we are planning to dedicate resources to targeted projects in South Asia, which includes Bangladesh. So whatever learning that you have, so how did you make it happen would be very useful for us when we start doing this project. So that's about it. Thank you, Dinda.
Thank you, Sister Anna. Maybe this time, Sister Sanzida, you want to try to answer?
Before go to Sanjida, Sister Dinda, I
Yeah.
apologize to Sister Anna that I could not hear her very well. I know that I guess that she told a very interesting thing about Bangladesh trade union movement, especially women, but cannot understand properly. From the beginning, there is a problem to hear her. Sorry for that. Please, can you please, in short, what she told me, can you please?
Yeah, Dinda, can you briefly, tell the point? Yeah.
Yes, Sister Anna, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to re-explain what you've just told us earlier.
Sure.
From what I get from Sister Anna's explanation, she would like to know. She is very inspired with your energy in making everything, the changes in the women movement in Bangladesh happen up until today, despite all the challenges and limitations that you faced along the way. And because later on the ITUC-AP will have a project in South Asia and will include the Bangladesh in it, she would like to know what is your strategy in making things happen and contributing to the changes so far. Am I correct, Sister Anna?
Yeah, yes, that's correct. Thank you, Dinda.
You are very welcome.
What was the strategy to, actually
Yeah.
strategy to educate and organize and educate. We follow the strategy from the beginning. We formed a team consisted of six team of six team consisted of 24 women on different issue. They were responsible to train other women members. One is development of women leadership, 6 member in this team, and one is organizing the organized women, another team. Number 3 is women workers rights and gender equality, and number 4 is health and safety of women workers. These 4 teams trained their members. They organize 4 programs, and thus their participant organize follow-up meeting, evening meeting with the rank and file women workers. This way we were able to aware 1800 women workers, and these women workers became the member of the union. This way our national women committees, they form their sector based women committee, area based women committee, and this way the number of women in the trade union has been increased, and also capacity of women committee has been increased, and this way actually we have simultaneously lobby advocacy with the national centers too, to integrate more women in their committees. And Anna, you know that number of women in the mainstreaming trade union leadership is more now, And when you come to our country, earlier Jojo was there before Sister Padma was there. Actually, Sister Padma, the director of the ITUC, ICFT Pro, she did a lot for the working women in Bangladesh. She visited several times and tried to motivate our leadership, change their attitude. And not only we are working from this, not only women are struggling, I2C AP has a very good role to integrate women into mainstream leadership. Now number of women in the mainstream leadership. I told about our 4 teams consisted of 6 members in each team, and the team who work for the development of women leadership, and the chairperson of that team is now MP. She is also leader of Jatiyo Shramik League, the labor wing of ruling party. So number of women, and I told you about Sister Dina, Women Affairs, General Secretary of BJSD Women Committee. She is also our team member. So all of our team members now active, except 2 of them died, and four of them left the country. They are in abroad. So other women uh, are very much active, and now they are leader. And the PSI Women Committee member is from BJSD, Sister Nargis Jahan. Industrial Global Union Bangladesh Council General Secretary China Rahman, she's also our team member. So our team member, our trainer are now in the leading position in their own national center.
Thank you, Sister Kohinoor.
Thank
Sister
you,
Sanjida.
and I2CAP.
Yes.
Sister Sanjida, maybe you want to
Yeah.
add some more context.
Thank you, Anna, for your question. And our strategy is more likely bills, but they are working directly to the trade unions, and we are working directly to the workers. And from this point, we are preparing the workers for the trade union as a civil society organization. That is our main point. So we contracting our worker, organizing them, and I told earlier that we use that as a cafe, is a center point for organizing them in this cafe. And we give them a number of training to how they can organize, how they can negotiate with the owners, how they can communicate with others, and their leadership. And this is also our strategy. And in this way, it takes time. It is not a one day or 1 month or 1 year process. It is a continuous process we are doing. And in this way, there are lots of leaders, and those leaders, APA told that in the trade unions, they are also started from, many of the leaders started working with Karmajibi, and they are now in the trade unions and in the leadership positions also. That is the way we are working.
Wow, that's really interesting, and I think we can. Sorry, I really appreciate it, and we can learn from it because we also encourage our members to partner with like-minded organizations to extend support. Like because the provision of training is usually unions of very limited capacity, time, and people to do that. So we encourage them to partner with others who could supplement those needs. So it's interesting to hear what's happening in Bangladesh around this. So thank you for both of you for sharing that a good practice.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Anna, can I share my experience before you? There was a program organized by I2CBC Women Committee. It was in 1998. That time, Sister T. Padma was there. And in the opening and closing, um, in both session, all male leader in the stage, you know. So, and sister, you know, and female leaders, one of them was the minister that time, you know, minister that time. So they were beside the leaders. They were not in the main stage, you know, main stage, but beside the leader. So I protest. That time I protest, and my leader was there. So some of my colleagues told me that how desperate you were protesting in front of your leader. It should not be, but I protest. And Anna, you can see now the scenario is changed. Women organizing, women contributing, and they are confident and they have capacity to sit in the stage beside, not behind the leadership, beside the leadership, you know. So it's
Yeah.
changed. I
Yeah,
hope
sir.
you are happy.
Anyway, Sister Anna, I also suddenly remember the conversation when we had the regional conference last year in Jakarta. The ITUC team is also mentioning about the campaign that you've been doing to also involve more women and young workers to the organization, to the trade union, is telling them that trade union is fun, you know, because sometimes maybe especially for young workers like all of us or the juniors, the generation Z that are entering the workforce first, they might see that trade union is a very strong organization that we are scared to be part of. But if we are trying to innovate in such way in communicating that trade union is fun, I think it's really interesting to know that this labor movement is evolving in such ways.
Yeah,
Um,
we're still in
Yes.
progress, Tita. We're still getting there.
anyway, I have one more slots for another last questions. If there is any more from the participants who would like to ask the questions to the speakers. Is there anyone who wants to ask? If not, I'm going to ask questions. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go with my questions because I'm really curious and hope to get this kind of knowledge from both of you. And this will be the last questions for our session today. Um, you know, as the young workers that is involved in the labor movement, like only for 5 years now, uh, we are being in the era of the future of jobs, you know, like there are so many new jobs creations out there, like the emergence of the startup industry, tech companies are here and there, and also the generation Z, as I mentioned before, is already entering the workforce, which maybe the we need like the new light of how trade unions will be perceived to their eyes. Sister Kohinoor and Sister Sanzida, would you mind to share some maybe strategies that you are doing or plan to do in order to make the face of the trade unions is more appetizing to the young workers, especially?
Yes,
Uh,
yes. Trade union are trying to organize more young and women in the trade union uh, leadership, and they're trying to organize them. But the recruitment is very few, you know. The new area is actually in private sector. Private sector is emerging, but in this sector, it is difficult to organize young people into trade union. So you know that even uh, women in the workplace, number of English medium school, number of private schools is there. They don't have any access to their access to getting their rights, no maternity leave, nothing. So their wages very few. So we need to organize them, but it is very difficult job. And the young, some entrepreneur also. We need to organize entrepreneur. There are number of entrepreneurs working now. So to access to, they don't have any access to loan, getting loan, access to government schemes. So there are number of areas to organize, but trade union have to uh, have some strategy, capacity to formulate strategy to organize this unorganized sector. We have to train trade union first, how to undertake programs to unorganize these sectors. So it is in their mind, as a trade unions, I can say that it is in their mind, but don't have any proper action plan yet.
Okay.
Yes, and young workers, actually, we have to engage the young workers first, and um, by motivating and giving them some effort, make them some curious about the what I say, political rights. Curious and aware. I think first it is the point, because at this stage in Bangladesh there is no any political vision or political activity, no, political activity, free political activity by the many political parties make the citizens aware. But at present there is no political activity, only one party, something like the autocratic system are going on. So the young generation are not aware about the political process, political issues. So I think our first thing have to make them aware about our history, about our um, about our follow who can we follow, about our leaders, make them aware about these, and the potentiality they have to become such great leaders or become such good initiators. I think this may instigate them to involve in the leadership. First, give them some points. I can tell you a story. Today, we are doing a procession in our working area, big procession. We are organizing today, and against the harassment, a number of harassment going on in our country. One garment worker has raped in the bus, inside the bus, and other things. So in our group we are chatting, and one of our junior leader asked, Apa, what can we do against this? I
Okay.
told her that you are the leader for this movement, you organize everything, and she is
Okay.
doing that, and she is doing that movement. She organized other seniors, and I call someone, they give her some support from backside, give her the leadership, and let her do what she wants, and she's organizing. That is the
Wow.
point. Let the young people do by themselves something, small things. Then we can involve them in bigger, than in trade unions. That is more complicated, more issues, more ethical point that is there. But we can prepare them by these small things. Uh, uh, I think this is a good start. We can start this way also. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sister Sanzida. Thank you very much also, Sister Kohinoor. I really hope that many of the young, especially women workers, are there to lead the change in the labor
Yes.
movement.
Yeah. Of course,
Um,
it should be.
o- okay. Since we already have around 5 minutes left for our session today, time flies so fast. I think we can now approaching to the very last session for today, as we all have the representations of the DGB BW Indira here with us today. Maybe Sister Indira, you can have some statement for today's discussion. Please, Sister, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dinda. And what an enriching session this has been. I mean, it was so wonderful. I want to thank both the sisters from Bangladesh here, but also to all our partners and everyone who's present here, especially those excellent questions. Thank you. Yeah, COVID has distraught all of us, and it was in that context that Dinda and I had been working on alternatives, to the regional conference and connecting with each other. And this was actually a first pilot of this kind as a talk show. First, it was a TED talk, then it became a fireside conversation, and now we ended up here as a talk show. So it has gone through multiple forms, but I mean, the content itself is so rich, and it would have fit in any of those formats that we had tried. So thank you again. But this is exactly where we thought that there's so much that goes unheard, that remains invisible, and in Marathi, where I come from, the regional language is Marathi, but I'm sure in all South Asian languages, there is an equivalent of the term called Katha Kathan, which means narrating a story. And for many centuries in South Asia, and I'm sure also in Southeast Asia, there have been equivalents of this kind of oral tradition, of just talking about your stories. You don't have to be an expert with a PhD degree from LSE, but just from your own experience, which is so rich. And that's where it is, because telling stories is a part of resistance. And just by sharing all your histories and experiences here, and of the things that sensitized you during your journeys, it was so wonderful, and it resonated, I'm sure, with all of us and gives us hope. At the same time, I did draw a lot of notes from today, and what really stood out to me was how both of you and your journeys and your reflections brought all the intersections, which operate against the woman. Patriarchy is so resilient, whether it's family, society, workplace, government, trade unions, I mean, you name it. And in our cultures, in South Asia, and I'm sure also in South Asia, there's an equivalent of social stratification. Like in India, caste is so important, and that's a dividing factor. So people cannot come together even though they're in the same union.
Yeah.
There's religious factors. There's I don't know. There must be other things in other countries, but despite so many factors dividing us, I mean, we are still trying to be a part of the movement, because I think there's that yearning, to feel like you belong to something that's common, that's bigger and broader than yourself and your community or your caste. And at the same time, it's really, for women, it's much worse, because that excellent example that Kohinoor Appa started with, that a woman working in a bank, she's already educated, and she's already has the choice to work, and even in that kind of a secure environment, where actually her wages in a government bank at least are the same as the male counterpart who's working with her, but still gender does play a role, and women are not really aware of it. It's almost like a collective unconscious, right? So women are not promoted, women don't have bigger job responsibilities. What is that if not gender discrimination? It may not be in wages and working conditions, but it's in these things. So I think, one part of it is that just this awareness raising, because patriarchy is not just about men. Women are also carriers of patriarchy, until somebody comes and shakes you and wakes you up and says, did you notice this? So that was really a wonderful eye-opening experience. And I think Kohinoor Appa is really right in saying that training, retraining, continuous workshops, capacity building, it may seem like overdose, but we have to do it. And for long years to come, we will have to continue to do it, because we all want a utopic society where gender inequality doesn't exist, but we know that that's a long way. and we have to keep doing not just our bit, but a big bits, um, so women have to work harder. I mean, yesterday in our prep session, Rapa did say that, and also Sanjida Appa mentioned this, that, we as women trade unionists, we have to work harder than the male trade union counterparts we have. It's a triple burden. It's home, work, and trade union, where there's a responsibility
Triple burden,
imbalance.
triple. Yes.
Triple burden, exactly. So we've heard of double burden, but actually it's a triple burden if you think about it. So at the same time, I think, these kind of journeys and going with you on those journeys is really a very nice exercise in making us humble, but at the same time also reflecting on how many successes have been missed. Because I've heard, women are the future, but we, from your stories, of course, we know that women are the present and they were also the past, right? And so these stories are either negligently documented, or they are just completely invisible, actually. So that is the reason we thought that this kind of a talk show or TEDx or whatever, any forum like that for just sharing stories would be very powerful and very meaningful for everyone to reflect on their own journeys as well. And of course, inspiring for the younger lot like Dinda and Sakshi and Anna were also saying. And Anna's question was really nice, actually. What makes it tick? What makes these changes happen despite all the issues? And my hunch personally, and I'm not from Bangladesh, but I'm just taking a guess here, based on my experience in India, actually, is that, in societies like us where there is already so much conflict and so much discrimination at different levels, it creates that space for dialogue and fighting back, and that dynamic that dynamism actually creates more open spaces. So while that is true, we also need to, as women, fight for our place all the time. So, with Sanjida Abba saying maybe we could conceptualize the idea of just a women workers trade union federation lobbying specifically for women workers' rights. Although that's at the risk of men saying you are discriminating and you're not including men. Also, the other thing of the continuous need to create democratic and gender equal spaces, not just having gender equal toilets in your office, but also, in the everyday working of the union and the gender movement in general, to just say that, you have you thought about this from a gender perspective? And gender again is not just about women. Gender is about men as well. It's about our socially constructed identities, right? And gendered roles. So yeah, I don't know what to say after both of them have spoken and after our discussion, because there's been so much learning for me in this. But I think to close, I would just like to say two things. One is that I'm really happy that through our projects, with all of you, we are looking at sectors which are in the shadows, or they are not. They're actually not even in the. They're in the darkness. Seafood processing industry. Path lab workers, hotel and restaurant workers, and so on. Nobody's really thought about them. I'm not blaming trade unions that they are intentionally ignoring these sectors, but it's a blind spot. They just don't even know that they exist, and if they know, then I think other priorities take importance. So having women in the movement actually contributes to also looking at these sectors which are lurking in the dark. And the further away in the darkness they are, there's more scope for hazards and harassment and violation of rights and so on. So it's really great. And my favorite bit, I would say, was about how women are bringing so much art, and by that I mean not art in gallery, but like living art, like the Rana Plaza accident. You're doing a theater, a play about that, which will definitely resonate more with people who are watching it, and making sense of it rather than someone giving them a speech about how dangerous that was. So I think, this idea of how we bring living art into the movement is also important, because it sustains the movement in a very nice, meaningful way. Yeah, and just for me, the humbling thought here is that there is a lot of fire that makes up the soul of an average woman, and all we need to do is make women realize that there's all that firepower inside us, and we need enabling men, of course, around us also. But just to say that women have come really far, and to take a moment to appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah,
In our countries, and
absolutely.
I'm really happy to be here, and it was so inspiring to hear this, and it was very nicely brought together. All the themes came together very nicely from both of you, and the questions actually kind of addressed the gaps that were there, and we really were, at least I felt personally, very enriched. So thank you, and a special thank you to Dinda, actually, who has been on top of all this and for organizing this so nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sister Indira, for a very thoughtful remarks from you. And I cannot stop to say thank you, Sister Kohinoor and Sister Sanzida, for showering us
Thank
with
you.
optimism. And I got so much learning from today's discussion. As the partners here already know as well, that as a facilitating organization, there are more to come about inspiring talks like this. And I hope that many of you can also join in the next events. Nevertheless, on behalf of TURC, I would like to say thank you for your participations, and I really, really hope to see you again soon. And if I got the chance to visit Bangladesh, please invite me to see
Of
one of
course,
the
please.
theater that we have.
Yeah, please
It's a
come.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess it's about it. Thank you very much, everyone, and I
Thank
hope
you.
to see you soon. Please stay healthy. Bye
Thank you.
bye. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye. Bye.
Allah Hafiz.